dropping that knowledge. Now, I was watching a movie that I really enjoy watching. I watch it maybe once every few years, but it's Cadillac Records. And if anyone has not watched Cadillac Records, I would highly suggest it. It's a great movie about the beginnings of blues and rock and roll, especially, how we created it and it was stolen from us, for lack of better words. But there's a scene in Cadillac Records that always is very powerful to me, and I would love to discuss it with you. Now, anyone who doesn't know the movie, whenever you join the record label, they gave you a Cadillac. That was, hey, here's your Cadillac. There goes shiny Cadillac. And to a lot of people, that's like, oh my God, that's awesome. Well, there's a scene in the movie where Howlin' Wolf, one of the legends of blues, pulls up in a crappy truck, and throughout the movie, he denies money from the label. He says things like, I don't want to borrow money against the store, things like that. And at the end of the movie, he was the one that seemed to have, the money while everyone else was broke, unfortunately. But, what are your thoughts on that, Lonzo? Just in general in the music business, of people who are quick to take the shiny object, maybe give up their ownership and things like that, just for that quick buck.
When you never had nothing and somebody offer you something, you always think it's somebody doing you a favor. But you don't know what that something is going to cost in the long run. And you're talking about people who are sharecroppers from down south Mississippi. I mean, Muddy Waters started off, you see, he's in a field. His first record was recorded in the trunk of a car. Guitar, no amplifier, just singing to a phonograph in the trunk of a car. And these people weren't educated. And the people who was doing business with them knew they weren't educated. They knew they weren't educated. And they knew putting that X on that contract was going to solidify to any judge that I said what I said. This is what he told me. He agreed to me not paying him no money. But again, here we are in 2024. We had the same issue right now. People will sign the first thing you put in front of them if enough zeros is in front is somewhere on their contract. Cadillac Records was probably near and dear to me because I know people that was in that Cadillac Records. My first manager, his daughter. I'm sorry. My first manager was a daughter of the bass player Willie Dixon.
Oh shit! No, that's a legend.
My first manager was the daughter of Willie Dixon. Her name was Shirley. I talk about her in my book. Wasn't a good relationship, but it's over with. Edie James was my neighbor. I wouldn't know about this house if Edie James hadn't told me about it. The house I live in right now, Edie James called me and told me, "So you just buy Johnny Otis' house," and I did. She was a friend of my dad's. My brother worked for her, and I was cool with her as well. But she heard I got my CBS deal, and she called me and told me, "You need to go buy that house. I got a studio and everything." That's one of the best things I've ever done. In fact, in the movie Cadillac Records, at the end after Homeboy died, she was on the floor crying because Muddy Waters brought her a deed to a house, and the house that he brought her the deed to is right around the corner from my house.
Oh yeah. You did tell me that. You did. Okay, I know that. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah.
I'm looking at it. I look out my window. I look at it every damn
crazy.
day. I look at it every day. Okay, her sons verified that. Okay, they eventually sold it, but nonetheless, that was the deal. So that movie right there had a big. I felt that one. I felt that one more than I did, almost as much as I did Straight Outta Compton. When you were in the Michel'le era, the 80s, the 90s, and the music era, and you still hear people, "Oh man, they screwed us." No, man, they didn't screw you. You played yourself, dude. You walked in there, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, with a pen in your hand, and signed the first thing them folks gave to you. Now, the same thing happened in a very popular group that I know of called N.W.A. In N.W.A., Ice Cube was Muddy Waters. Think about it. Ice Cube was Muddy Waters. No, I'm sorry. Ice Cube was Howlin' Wolf. I'm sorry. Ice Cube was Howlin' Wolf.
I was going to say, there you go.
Same thing. Same exact thing. Everybody else was getting the money. I got babies. I got this. I got to get some money, blah, blah, blah. Ice Cube was like, no, I need a lawyer to read my contract. No. And unlike Muddy Water, Howlin' Wolf, he left. Howlin' Wolf stayed, but nonetheless, he had the wherewithal to seek legal counsel before he put his name on something. And if he didn't get what he needed, he moved on. And he fought for what he believed in, and it worked for him. Okay, it is what it is, Doc. And these are the kind of things that, like I was telling somebody yesterday, I spoke at USC. I do that about sometimes twice a year. They have a hip hop class at USC, a straight up hip hop class, and they call me out and they have me speak once or twice a year. And I tell people all the time, I say, it's one thing to hear the story. It's another thing to live the story. And when you live stories like Ice Cube and Edie James, and you actually are part of the fabric of what this thing is about, you see it from a whole different perspective. It's hard for somebody to tell me some different shit because everybody else, for the most part, secondhand knowledge. My shit is OG. Nigga, the shit came through my pupils, into my brain, through my ears, into my brain, direct. So I'm not going on some hearsay she say. So when you see shit like Muddy Water, Howlin' Wolf turned down the contract and want to be his own man, you can easily see the comparison between Ice Cube and everybody else from N.W.A. You can see that. And nothing changed. It's just that the date changed. Instead of being blues, it was R&B, it was rock, it was rap. It was the same game was about to get ran on him. And I don't know nobody getting no publishing check from Ruthless. I don't know. I know they get something from time to time, but I don't know if Ruthless's situation is as lucrative as a Cadillac Records. I don't know. So it's the game that people have been taking advantage of the young, dumb, and stupid for decades. And that's why so many record companies don't have a lot of older artists. Man, think about that. It's like this guy going to the military. They don't want no grown ass man in the military. You can evolve to a grown ass man, but you got to come in young so I can indoctrinate your ass with my shit. You can't mold hardened concrete. You 40 years old, 35 years old, a private, and you see them shooting and bombing over there. And they tell you run over there and take that hill. Man, fuck you. I'm not doing shit.
Hell no, sorry, sir.
No, sorry, sir. But when you a youngster and they pump all that, pump those different, hey man, simplify, blah blah blah, and you'll do things to prove yourself that when you're older,